Welcome to Performance Driven Living, the podcast where we question everything. We don't tiptoe around tough topics, we walk right into them. Not to provoke, but to get closer to what's real. You might not agree with everything you hear, and that's okay. The show isn't about being right, it's about being real. These conversations are meant to stretch your thinking, challenge assumptions, and spark something deeper. The views shared are those of our guests and may not reflect those of the host or team. And while we dive deep into health, performance, and transformation, this is not medical advice. Talk to your doctor before making changes to your health or lifestyle. Take what lands, leave what doesn't. But whatever you do, don't stop questioning.
We're back on the Performance Driven Living podcast. I'm your host, Mark Young, and I am joined here today by my friend from across the pond, Philip Gladman, who has come on here and we're going to talk about a bunch of different stuff, but you're like all branded up with your Domo goods on
I have
there,
just
so
been
I can't ignore that.
The sampling stand.
and I want to talk about this. Philip is actually the co-founder of a company called Domo, and I'm reading my notes here because they always say it better than I ever could. Domo is a brand that reimagines social drinking, not removing the ritual, but elevating it without the alcohol.
That's
And
us.
I love that phrase because I think that says so much. Now, I met Philip, in disclosure, earlier this year when we were at a similar conference, and a mutual friend insisted we meet and continues to insist that we meet. And when Sandy introduced us, she was like, I want you to meet these people. And I was like, all right, like, tried some of your beverage. And I was like, oh, like that actually tastes good. And I'm a weirdo about drinks. Like,
That is
I won't,
literally the number one statement I've heard most of the time this morning.
I believe it.
People don't believe that a functional drink can taste good.
Right. And because we're so believing that there's enhancements and all this other kind of stuff. Well, I want to do a couple of things. First, let me set up the product, because without knowledge of really what we're talking about here, Domo is a nootropic, you would consider it, right?
Yes.
So it's a beverage, it's an RTD, a ready to drink, in a can, fills my refrigerator, and the drink itself actually has nootropic properties, meaning that it's flavorful and it tastes really good, but it also, correct me if I'm wrong, 17 mood-enhancing ingredients.
Yeah, 17 different functionals in a quad stack. So the first element of the stack are nootropics. The second are amino acids. Then you have the cofactors, and finally an absorption enhancer. But if we go back to what it's all about, so if you take the stats from America, 55% of Americans are actively trying to reduce how much they drink. Only 22% are making it. And you go, well, what's the gap? And we went and interviewed people to try and really understand what the gap is. And they all pretty much said the same thing, which is there's not peer pressure from their friends to drink, but there's an internal peer pressure to drink. Because when you go out with your mates and you're not drinking and they are, you have one, maybe two drinks, and then your friends disappear off on a vibe, having really good fun, and you're sitting there not feeling part of it. And you start looking at your watch, wondering, how long till I can leave. You get bored, you get tired. But what's worse is over half the people we interviewed said, we will not go out with our friends if we're not drinking because we would rather not feel isolated. So we're in the middle of this loneliness epidemic, and we've got people going, well, the only way I can go out is to drink.
Well, so I'll say this, like, I'm not a heavy drinker, but I don't have a problem with drinking by itself. But what I'll say to that, like, so I'm currently right now, I was telling you before the show, like, I'm actually in the midst of what's called a 75 hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're familiar with that. It's like, it's a strict workout schedule, strict diet schedule, so on and so forth. But one of those things is you cannot have alcohol for 75 days. And for me, like, that's not a big deal, because if I go 75 days without alcohol, that's not weird because I'm a weirdo. So if I go out with people and I'm the one who's not drinking, like, I make them feel uncomfortable, not the other way around. Because I'm like, well, you're all drinking, whatever. Like, I'll just sit here with my club soda, I'm good. But like yesterday, I was at a party last night, which was the inaugural dinner for the Lifelong Wellbeing Foundation. And it was all the who's, right? And they had a beautiful wine selection. Funny enough, like you go to a lifelong well-being conference and there was so much wine left over because it's just not a heavy drinking crowd. But Domo was there. And I was like, I knew it was going to be there ahead of time because we were actually doing some of the marketing and stuff for what was going on there. But it was exciting to me to be able to actually walk around and have a drink at the bar, because I had a Domo over ice, and it was, I mean, obviously very tasty. I like it. But you still get that. Yeah,
I was going to say, how did you feel?
That social engagement out of it, right? Because one of the things that we like about alcohol is it kind of lowers inhibition. It kind of downregulates the nervous system. Like you get that sense of relaxation that comes, prior to the third drink. But that one drink, two drink for me with regular alcohol, it's kind of just takes the edge off kind of thing, right? It's that social, inhibition starts to increase or decrease but it really is, it's that mood enhancement, right? It's that you just kind of relax a little bit. And I would arguably say, and again, my background's clinical psych, and I'm gonna throw in here and say, I actually believe that some of the downregulation of the nervous system when it comes to alcohol is psychological even more than it's biological. That people actually associate having a drink with slowing down and relaxing.
Without doubt. There's
So I mean, I would actually argue and say that, like, I know people that are like, how many times have you heard people at the end of a day say, I just need a drink? It's like, and just sitting and ordering the drink before they even touch it, they've already relaxed. They've already loosened their jaw. Their shoulders have already gone down. It's because there's an association that goes along with it where you actually start to downregulate that nervous system just even in advance of the substance. So I love the fact that that's happening. The nootropic sense is happening, and Domo is, like I said, it was a great alternative to having a drink last night. But in addition to that, it's like I was still provided that, I'll say, placebo effect in some respect, right? Like I felt downregulated. And then when I started drinking the drink, I had the benefit of all of the nootropics and aminos and everything else to go along with it as well. And so I love it. I love the product, but I want to talk to you about alcohol in general.
Yeah.
Now you're from the UK.
Yeah.
Your product is sold in the US.
Yeah.
So but you're not sold in the UK, which is super interesting.
No.
So you're running a UK-based company that only sells in the US, which kind of feels weird as an American. But but part of that I'm going to say is you're selling a product into the US. What patterns? You just gave the number that 55% of the US population is starting to drop. They want to reduce
actively trying to reduce.
And only 22% are saying they're achieving it.
Yeah.
What other numbers are you seeing? What patterns are you seeing? I was talking to someone earlier saying that I was reading something about how the Gen Alpha, I believe is what they're calling the current generation, is consuming less alcohol than any generation in like 70 years.
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge truth. So alcohol's going down everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But what we forget about the new generations coming in, it's funny, if you look at the non-alc world, it spends all its time creating non-alc gins, non-alc tequilas, non-alc, this, that, and everything else. Yeah, but if you've never drunk gin, you've never drunk tequila, why would you want a non-alc one, right? So you've got a whole new generation coming in who don't want a replicant. They just want something which is delicious, which is tasting, and which is going to make them feel good. And then you've got another cohort, and it changes as you move through age, which are looking for replacements.
Mm-hmm.
So you, in a way, have two distinct areas. But ultimately, what everybody wants is a really sophisticated moment, which is a pacemaker from the day.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a reason last night when you were, at that dinner, we weren't serving Domo in cans. They were in beautiful glasses, rimmed with tagine, with slices of ginger, with slices of mint, because that's all part of the experience. We want an experience as much as we want a feeling, and they both augment each other.
Do you think, you've got me thinking here, because you talked about a generation that doesn't even enjoy the taste of alcohol per se. So why would we want a non-alcoholic alternative to have the same taste?
Exactly.
Because I personally have never really enjoyed the taste of alcohol. Like, it's part of the reason, like if I'm drinking, I'll probably drink vodka simply because it doesn't taste like anything, right? It tastes like whatever you're mixing it with, as opposed to like people who drink gin or whiskey or bourbon or something. Like, that's a very clear taste. God, I've never particularly enjoyed that. So maybe that's not my thing at all, but I'm curious in so much as when you're talking about the non-alcoholic alternatives to the group that doesn't even know what alcohol tastes like, do you consider yourself something that tastes like a drink or not taste like a drink?
We started as being the third choice.
Mm-hmm.
So at the moment you go, right, I can drink or I've got non-alcoholic. And we wanted to give people the choice where they could feel part of the evening, stand there with the right glass, with the right feeling. And consequently, we did ready to serve cocktails. But if you imagine what we've created as a secret sauce, and putting it in a ready to serve cocktail was the easiest way of starting and testing the proposition.
Mm-hmm.
We can lift up and put that secret sauce into lots of different things. And you were asking about England earlier, which arguably is probably 3 to 5 years ahead of the American market. The drinks which are really working in England at the moment are spirit-based. You mix them with a tonic, but none of them are replicants. They are all really interesting, individual, new tastes, which people like.
Well, I love what you're doing, because for me, I say this, I have a full bar at home, and I can't tell you that in the absence of company being over that I've ever opened a bottle, because it doesn't interest me. Which is interesting because I actually had an alcoholic mother. So, and it's like, and I don't have a problem. I'm not one of the people who's like, I will never touch alcohol. I saw what it did. Like, no, it was abused. That's fine. Like, it was abused. Like a lot of things get abused. So it's not that alcohol offends me. I see no healthy reason for it. So as a health nut, there's a cognitive dissonance that exists when I drink it. Because I'm like, I'm drinking this knowing it's serving no purpose and only doing harm. But I enjoy it enough that I'm willing to do it. And some of it is social.
Yeah, totally.
And
have an invention.
Absolutely. But one of the things is, like, I've got a case of Domo in my refrigerator at home. And if I'm sitting on the couch watching a movie or working at night or something like that, it's like, I would actually open a Domo, partially because I like the cognitive enhancement that comes along with it. Like if I'm working and I'm sitting with my laptop on the couch, like I actually like the nootropic sense of it. I actually find that it's weird because I'll say that there's a stimulation to it, but it's not like a nervous system stimulation. It's almost like a heightened acuity.
Yes.
That comes from almost like helping the nervous system down-regulate. And what do I want to say? It almost helps me go to flow state.
Well, this is really fascinating science now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got 17 functionals, which do a big range of things, okay?
Sure.
Now, what's important about those functionals is two things. Number one, they're all bioavailable.
Okay.
i.e. your body can get at it, access it, and use it.
Mm-hmm. Quickly.
Number two, they're all at therapeutic doses, i.e. we have the scientific evidence that amount in there will have an effect on your body. That's why we come in at 6,000 milligrams versus pretty much everyone else out there on the market is 400 to 500.
That's interesting.
So big difference. But here's the fascinating thing. Think of it as feeling fuel, right? Now, if you're sitting, working, you want focus, you want concentration, probably want a little bit of energy. So your body is going to go to those ingredients, the 17, and going to go, I'm going to take the cognizine, I'm going to take the magnetine, I'm going to probably take some of the glutamine, and that's going to give you a bump of energy, focus, concentration, and power through. If you went clubbing on the same drink, your body is going to choose a different set of ingredients, which will give you euphoria, more energy, more togetherness.
That's interesting.
If you went and had a romantic dinner, it would take the L-Dopa, the stuff which makes you feel together. So we're creating feeling fuel in the can. And where you put yourself, your environment, the stimulus, will be what your brain chooses to use to create the feelings you want.
So when you're intaking this, make sure that I'm understanding, because that's fascinating, that when you're actually taking in the nootropic, it's not creating any single response. It's just heightening whatever response your body's responding to.
Exactly.
So if I'm trying to read a book, I read the book with more concentration. If I'm trying to have a good time at a party, I'm having a better time at a party. If I'm trying to be romantic, it's
very good at that.
Like very good. All of these things are being heightened, right? Because that's the idea of a nootropic, is you're actually digging in deeper into what's already being experienced. Now, so I'm drinking Domo. You're doing this cocktail. You guys have 3 flavors, I believe. Yeah. 3 flavors. Are they different, the outcome from each one?
No, so the functional blend is the same in all of them because your body's going to choose. So we just changed the cocktail for the occasion. So we've got a long, refreshing first drink of the night. Berry bramble, think of big balloon glass, squeezes of lemon, blackberries, strawberries in it, sitting on the veranda, watching the sun go down. Ginger miso mule, copper cup, wedges of lime, the kombucha and the miso cut through food beautifully. And then a spicy watermelon margarita, rim the glass with salt or tagine or a mixture of the two, cold, little squeeze of lime when you want your evening to kick on. So we're changing the drink for the occasion back to your cognitive.
Yeah.
And then your body is going to choose the functions it wants in that occasion.
Which is absolutely, you said that's crazy science.
It's crazy science.
Yeah.
But bizarrely, it's not, right? This is just our bodies. And these ingredients have been around for centuries.
Yeah, but you think if I take a pre-workout, I don't take a different pre-workout for chest day than I do leg day, right? I take a pre-workout and my body uses it in the areas that I'm stressing. I think the same happens with the brain in that respect, right? I put in the inputs, and whatever areas of the brain that are functioning are the ones that are using the energy.
Totally.
I mean, that makes sense to me, right? Like if I'm in the house, I flip the switch on whatever light I want to be in, and that's where the electricity flows. All the switches don't fire at the same time. It just depends on where I'm focused my attention. So that makes sense to me. Now, you guys, do you see it at being a drink at home thing? Do you, I know you're just really launching in the market right now.
So, I mean, we're learning, okay? We're totally learning. So we started in the non-alc specialist shops in New York to test the efficacy. And I mean, we were selling so quickly, we were worried we were going to run out of stock, so we had to slow down. And we won, the favorite functional beverage in the After Alcohol Awards. We didn't even enter. It was, and that's voted for by the readers. And I think that all comes down to the efficacy. It works. Now we've gone into bars and clubs in New York. It's doing really well in the music venues because there's a lot of people who love music, who want to be part of their night, but don't want to drink.
Well, and I'm going to say this, one of my issues is I know, if I go out, if I'm out with a client or something, I'll have 2 drinks. Third one, I'm tuned out. 1 or 2, I'm just having a nice time. I get to the 3rd drink and then I'm disinterested. I'm disconnected. 4, and I'm just stupid and want to go to bed. Right. But what I love about Domo as an alternative to this is if I'm going to some place where I'm going to be for hours, unfortunately, I'm going to keep refilling my glass, right? Because I'm going to sit and I'm going to sip on whatever is in front of me. And I think this offers a really great alternative to that, because I can drink 3 or 4 Domos and not have a sense of awareness declining, as opposed to alcohol.
So we have a phrase in England, it's a lovely phrase called, you got your 2 glass jolly on. You know, when you had like 1 to 2 glasses of wine or beer,
Yep,
feeling
2 glasses.
happy, chatty, relaxed, confident, totally together with your friends. The world's a relaxing, happy place. It's designed to sit you at that. And it doesn't build. It sits you at that level. And each can lasts for an hour and a half to 2 hours. So what we find, most people actually don't have more than 2 in a night, and which is terrible business practice on my part.
But 2 to 3 drinks in a night, I think, is normal for most people, even if they're drinking alcohol. But I like the 2-drink jolly. Like, that makes complete sense. I may steal that one. My favorite British phrase all along has been "Bob's your uncle."
Oh, fancies your aunt.
But the Brits really do have the best throwaway lines. Like, and it's something else. So, if you could tell us, Philip, like, you've got a story. Like, Domo's awesome. Like, I love what you guys are doing, of course. One step deeper, you've got a background in beverage launches.
I have, yeah. I'm a poacher turned gamekeeper.
Yes. Tell me.
So, I have spent my career working for some of the big drinks companies. I sort of headed up innovation for Diageo for Europe, headed up some of the big brands around the world, and then went on and worked for a company called William Grant's, which is Hendrix, Glenfiddich, Monkey Shoulder. And I loved my time there. I worked with really exciting, young, vibrant, challenging, interesting people in a lovely, vibrant industry.
Those were alcohol based.
Those were all alcohol based, right? And I still have the occasional drink.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying you're coming from the alcohol beverage industry into the non-alc options, as you're saying.
Totally.
What are you seeing as the biggest shift?
For me personally?
Yeah.
So, look, I've got a young family. I'm very into my sport, and working in the industry, doing a global job, I was sort of expected to fly in a country on Sunday night, go out for a dinner, then go to a nightclub, do the same on Monday, do the same on Tuesday, do the same on Wednesday, fly home probably Thursday night, get home to the wife and the kids, and it was like,
right after 4 days of nonsense,
right here, the kids, and it just didn't fit.
Yeah.
It just didn't fit my lifestyle, didn't fit me. And it definitely was taking a toll.
Yeah.
On relationships, on everything, right?
Really not.
And I just thought, somebody's got to solve this. There's got to be a better way.
Okay.
So I left. It took us 2 years of consumer and scientific research to crack it. It was about a year and a half to crack the science. And then once we'd cracked the science, putting 6,000 milligrams of functionals in a can, turns out it's really hard. Because, like if you had a dirty champagne glass, it just goes, Our first run, there was more on the ceiling than there was in the can. And also when you put that much in, there's some insane flavor.
I was going to say flavor profiles,
which you have to do to mask some of the things which don't taste very nice.
Yeah, for sure.
So, if you look at most competitors, they've probably got 2 or 3. Some of our drinks have got 17 different flavors.
Yeah. Well, so I want to unpack just a little bit real quick that you came from the alcoholic beverage world, grueling world. Like it was party every night because you had to be where the product.
Yeah.
So you were in clubs, you were in this. I've got a good friend of mine who was a general manager of a hotel in Vegas, and is like listening to what his life was 7 days a week. I'm like, how in the world did you ever have a family? And it's like, and his story, it kind of declined, right? Like it ended up, he and his wife separated, lost everything, so on and so forth, started over, great guy. But that's kind of the life that you were in some respect there, right? Like what was that so taking its toll on your personal life then?
Yeah.
So the point that you quit.
Yeah. So first of all, I went through a balance phase where I would fly into the country and say, I don't drink on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And, people would look at, I was on the board of the company at that point, right? The executive.
Yeah.
And they'd look at me like I was an alien, right? Hang on, you're running this company and you don't drink on 4 days of the row, 4 days in a row? Because you've got,
Right.
look at all the scientific evidence, right? If you want to clear your liver out, take at least 3 consecutive days off, right? So I was practicing that. But then there was just a dissonance, right?
Yeah.
And actually, it was, as much as it for me was looking forward to try and create a third way. It's called DOMO, which stands for Don't Miss Out.
Yeah.
Because we want everybody to be able to go out and have the most fun night, absolutely at the heart of the evening, but then wake up in the morning fresh as a daisy.
Well, so the reason I ask that question is because I always find common themes. Every time I talk to particularly someone in the wellness space, there's always this theme of in my pain, I found my purpose story, right?
Totally.
It's the founder's story. And that's kind of what I'm hearing from you in this. And it's like, yeah, I lived in a dissonance and I needed to figure out a way that I didn't have to live in this dissonance because I didn't actually want what I was selling. Like I was selling alcohol, I was promoting this kind of stuff. And while that's fine, and I'm not mad at the alcohol world, I just didn't want that for my life.
I'm not mad at alcohol.
No, not at all.
I had a wonderful time working with some amazing people. And, I still love a Hendrix and tonic, right?
Again, I drink too.
But I just feel that there is another world out there.
Yes.
Right? A world which can help people, a world which can be better for people, a world where you can have your cake and eat it.
Well, and that's also a point that I want to make sure that we drive home is it's not that the Domo is a Diet Coke while you're at the bar. It's not like you're just drinking something empty so that you don't feel left out. You're actually drinking something that's healthy.
Yeah.
So this is not a neutral. This is a plus.
The healthy way to play.
Because
you want to go out, you have fun, do it in a way which is healthy.
And we can agree that alcohol is a negative. I think everybody who drinks realizes that. Like it's not bringing you a health advantage, but people are willing to deal with the consequence of it because they enjoy the side effect.
Yeah, totally.
Having a water or a Coke or a club soda or something is a neutral.
Yeah.
This is not just a replacement for an alcohol that looks like a fancy drink. You're actually getting a plus.
Yes.
Like it's not that you're just avoiding alcohol. So I don't want people to think that this is just an alcohol replacement. This is a health drink. This is actually providing amino acids. This is actually providing the
vitamins, minerals,
everything else. Like you're actually getting benefits out of drinking this. Like even if a person never drank, this is great to just have at home while you're watching TV or playing with the kids. Like there's no negative to it. It's actually a health drink. Like this is something you want to have on a regular basis as part of your supplementation routine almost.
Yeah, look, you can have 3 a day because we've got so many things in it. And just have this when you want to have a really fun time.
Mm-hmm.
This is just, it's there for you to have.
It's just a great stimulant.
A different way of playing.
Now, how does this differ from kava? Because that's become a big thing.
So yeah, kava's a great drink. Love it. I tried some earlier today. Kava's more of a chilled, relaxing sort of feeling. Yeah. This is a bit more bubbly, a bit more effervescent, a bit more energetic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a different sense. It's more of an elevation versus a relaxation.
Yeah, yours is more of a cocktail. Kava's more of like a coffee kind of vibe. So, but botanically, kava's plant derived.
Yeah, kava's plant derived. It's just more of a calming plant.
Right.
And no, we have some calming elements in there. Mm-hmm. But we also have some euphoric elements, some togetherness elements, some connectivity elements.
Absolutely.
We just have more of a suite.
Yeah. And I love that. And I love the idea that you're saying that you can go from literally, whatever scenario you're in, it's just heightening that experience, right?
Yeah.
Like whatever that is. I think that's amazing. Well, Philip, welcome to America.
Thank you very much.
We're thrilled to have Domo around. And like I said, seeing it yesterday, and then obviously we're here at the conference this week. So great being able to be represented here. Where would somebody get a hold of you if they want to try Domo?
So if you're at the show, we're on the 3rd floor, tucked.
People won't be at the show by the time this releases.
Very good point. So best place to get a hold of us is online, www.drinkdomo.com.
Drinkdomo.com. That's drink, D-O-M-O.
Yeah, D-O-M-O. And we'll get it straight out to you.
I think that's fantastic. Take a look for all the information about Philip Gladman and his business partner, Susie. And their contact information will actually be down in the show notes. And check out drinkdomo.com. I love Drinkdomo. I'm going to tell you, like, I literally have it in my refrigerator. I know several people. In fact, I was talking yesterday. I had dinner Monday. I had dinner with Jimmy St. Louis. And he was laughing about it. And he's like, I just ordered cases and just brought it all into the office. And he's just like, everybody enjoys it in the office. I'm like, that's good stuff. Like, we should have this in the office too. If people are just going to think clearer, that's a better modality. So guys, I encourage it. Go take drinkdomo.com. There's all sorts of stuff there in the show notes that I want you to check out. Philip, it has been a pleasure having you here. I appreciate you teaching us more about the alternatives to our cognitive dissonance of drinking alcohol.
Yes.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you. Take care.